Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Say What podcast. My name is Hanna, and on this podcast, we like to talk about purity culture, sex, marriage, relationships, girly things. It's a really fun time here at the podcast. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I'm recording on a Friday afternoon. I'm about to go on a triple date for my friend's birthday dinner, and no kids are coming. We are going without kids, and I am so excited. I am so excited. I've not been on a double date, triple date in so long without children. I don't even know what this is going to be like. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. What thoughts do I have in my brain to share that aren't about a child? I don't know, but I'm so excited. That is what I'm doing today. I hope you guys have had a great week. I'm having one of those days where my outfit is just like not doing me any favors. You know what I mean? Like I can't figure out what to wear. Nothing feels right on my body. It's just like one of those days. You know what I mean? One of those days. Us girls, we just have those days sometimes. And I know there's boys that listen to this podcast too. But for the girls, you understand. Sometimes you just have those days. I'm trying to make a double denim outfit work. And just right now, I just don't think it's working. Everything just feels like blah. You know what I mean? It just feels blah. But it will be okay. And we have a lot of advice to give you today. That is what today's episode is. It is an advice column episode. The reason I'm doing this so early on in my coming back to podcasting is because when I was taking a break, I would still get some column, like people would write in sometimes for things, and I wasn't recording, and so I was like, hopefully, fingers crossed, this advice will still be relevant when I actually record one, and I wanted it to be soon, because there was a couple questions that came in, and I was like, you guys need help. You need help, and I always appreciate you valuing my opinion, wanting my advice. I will give you honest, unbiased, but really kind and compassionate advice, because that's the kind of advice I would want. I don't want just like the harsh, intense advice. I want you to meet me with compassion and kindness. So that is what I'm going to do for you. So that's what today's episode is. We got a lot of submissions. I'm going to get to as many as I can and just give you my best advice. I don't know all the ins and outs and the details of your situation and your life story, but hopefully I can provide some help for you. So since we have a good amount of submissions, we are just going to jump right in. I didn't really do anything of note this week to share. I wish I had like more exciting updates for you. We have just been hanging out. We're going to go see family this week. We are going to go travel just for the week. Like during the week, we're not going to go on the weekends, and it's going to be fun. That's really it. Like we really got not a lot going on over here. So I don't have any fun things to share with you. I wish I did. I'm sorry. But hey, it's good. We got good advice coming your way. So why don't we just jump into that? But before we jump into that, I want to tell you that today's podcast is sponsored by Pixie Cup. I love, 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 love Pixie Cup more than anything in this world, honestly. I tried my first Pixie Cup about 5 years ago, and I've never gone back. Once I figured out how to get the Pixie Cup in, and it was super comfortable, and I noticed that I didn't have any leaking, I didn't have any more cramps. Like my cramps significantly decreased, and I realized that I would be saving so much money. I was like, goodbye tampons. I will never see you again. Goodbye tampons. I will never see you again. I love Pixie Cup. I've used this same company for, like I said, 5 years now. I used the same cup for about 2.5 years, and then I had a baby. And then when I came back to using a cup, I did go up a size after having a baby, but it's still so great. It's lasted me forever. The condition of the cup is truly so good. Like they really last you a long time. I love that it's good for the environment. And Pixie Cup also has more than just menstrual cups. They also have different pads. They have discs if you're interested in trying a disc. They've got steamers for you to clean your cups. They've got different lubes that you could try. They've got, like I said, pads. They really have a lot of options for you, but their cups are seriously so great. I'm so obsessed with them. And I just love that I'm helping the environment, but also helping my life and my body. It truly is the best. And Pixie Cup is such a good company. Like truly, I have been keeping up with them for so many years now, and I can't sing their praises enough. They are really big on giving back to the community, which I think is really great. Every time you buy a cup from them, they will donate a cup to a person in need. And I was actually looking at their warehouses the other day, and I learned that their warehouses that they have to distribute product is located in specific areas that they do this give back program with. So I just think that is so cool. I love that a company is giving back to those in need, and Pixie Cup products are truly just great. So I love Pixie Cup. Their customer service is 10 out of 10. Like if you are having any problems with your cup or your disc, you can reach out to them and they will help troubleshoot with you, because they understand like this is a new thing. It's like a new way to like insert something into your body. It's a little bit different. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but they are there for you. And on their Instagram, they have so many helpful videos that you can look at and tutorials on how to use their products. They also have applicators for the disc. If you are trying to use a disc, they have an applicator, and I think they have a cup applicator as well, which is great. So if you're not wanting to use your hands, you could look into using one of those, but their customer service team is there to help you out. Like I really cannot sing their praises enough. They are so good. I've used Pixie Cup for 5 years now, and I'll be using them for truly the rest of my life. Like I will be a Pixie Cup fan forever. I just know it. They're the best people. You can learn more about Pixie's period care today by clicking the link in the episode notes. And if you use my link, you can get 15% off anything from Pixie, which is fantastic. We love a discount. So thank you so much, Pixie, for sponsoring this episode. I love you, love you, love you. Well, let's get into the advice, shall we? I'm so excited to give you guys my best advice. I'm coming in strong. I've looked over these. I'm feeling pretty confident, somewhat, about the help that I'm going to give you. We're going to do the best that we can. First dilemma I'm here to help you with. Hey, Hannah, I love your show. I really enjoy listening to it. Oh, thank you. I have a pressing question to ask. I really hope that this is still relevant. I'm really sorry. So since I was a kid, I masturbated. I did it to learn about my body and to not feel shame over it. But I have found out that I have built brain pathways with it, and I have trouble having an orgasm when I'm not tensing up my body. Me and my girlfriend have been dating for 3.5 years now, and we are getting married next year. I'm wanting to try and correct the problem now, so that way we don't have to go through the hard struggle. I try to talk to her about it, but she does not really understand why it's a huge problem, and she thinks we should work on it together. What do you think we should do? Thank you. And the person put their name on here, which I appreciate you doing that, but I'm going to keep your name off because I want this to be anonymous. So I love that you are writing in. Clearly, this is something that you feel passionate about, that you are feeling, a little bit conflicted over. I mean, that's why you wrote in. You are wanting to do the right thing, it seems like, and you're taking your relationship really seriously. You're taking, what you are doing for yourself very seriously in your relationship, and you want to be the best person for yourself and the best person for your girlfriend, who will hopefully be your wife one day. So I just really commend you writing in. And I know after years of masturbation, what you're saying does make sense. Like your body has gotten used to that as the way that you orgasm, and it has to be this certain way, but you were really wanting to have this, connection with your wife. There was a question before this one that I think it's the same person writing in. In that one, you said you guys were waiting until marriage. It's written very similar, so I do think it's the same person. But in the question before, you said you were waiting until marriage. So if you're waiting until marriage, and you haven't had sex yet, and that's something that you're wanting to do with your wife, and also you're talking about this because you want to experience this with your wife and not be something that is like a block in your way. I think that's really great. I'm glad that you wrote in. I understand that your girlfriend, she's like, I don't really know why this is an issue. She sounds like she's in the camp that masturbation is okay. And, she feels good about that. If you guys are Christians, it sounds like she also, that is not an issue for her. However, you are wanting that connection to be just with her and not be a solo act. So my thoughts on masturbation have kind of evolved over the years. I have really taken a lot of time to pray and ask the Lord about it and seek, counsel, and just really prayer and seek the Lord about it, because the word like masturbation is not in the Bible. So that, is hard. I'm having to kind of infer, what I believe. But through my reading of the Bible and my understanding of scripture, I do believe that sex is meant to be a relational experience, not an isolated experience. And masturbation is an isolated experience. And so if you're trying to figure out how to not be masturbating anymore because you want this experience with her, I'm with you. I am fully for you. And it also sounds like you writing in, you have a little bit of conviction over this, like you are wanting to stop. And even if your girlfriend is like confused on why this is a problem, I still think that this is something that you need to work on because you feel like it's an issue. Even if she doesn't feel like it's an issue, it might one day become an issue, but also for you, like that's enough reason. If you feel like it's an issue for you, that's enough reason for you to work on this. So I do believe that sex is meant to be a relational experience, which would mean, the goal of masturbation is to, experience an orgasm and experience pleasure. And I believe that that was designed for us to do together. And so what I would start to do is first tell somebody what you're going through. If you have a trusted person that you can talk to about this, I highly recommend you talking to them. I'm glad that you wrote into me, so I'm giving you the next steps, but we need to have a trusted person in your life that you can talk to, preferably a male. Like, you definitely, I don't think, want to talk to a female, because that's just, I think, crossing some boundaries. So preferably a male to talk to about this and share with them, hey, this is something I am really wanting to do. And you want it to be someone that that aligns with your values as well, because you don't want pushback and then being like, oh, masturbation's fine, everyone does it. But you are feeling convicted by this, so you are not wanting to do this anymore. And so you need to find a trusted person that you can talk to about this, that will become an accountability partner, that will check in on you, ask the hard questions. It needs to be somebody that you respect, that after, like, if you're going to do this, if you are going to masturbate, you're going to think afterwards, like, man, like, I don't want to tell them that I did this, but I've got to. Like, that is the kind of, you have to have the respect for the person in that way. If it's just your best friend and you don't really mind lying to them and you don't think that they're going to care and hold you accountable, then that's not the person that you need to be talking to about this in this kind of way. You know what I mean? Because it needs to be somebody that you actually respect, that you will listen to. I think that is a good step to start with. But also, when it comes to changing these habits, something my husband would say that really helped him out, Thomas, whenever he was going through this, like, years and years ago, the big change for him was, it really was a heart issue, because he had the apps set up to where he wouldn't look at things. I mean, you didn't mention porn in here, but he had the app set up that he wouldn't look at things. He had the accountability partners. He read the books. But for him, what it really boiled down to was, because at this point, we were married and I had a big problem with it. And he also had a problem with it, but it was like a real strain on our marriage. And he said it just came down to the point where he was like, what do I love more? Like, do I love my wife more than this experience that I'm experiencing? Okay, yes, then I'm going to do everything in my power to love my wife more and not do this anymore. Like, it really was a heart shift. Like, he had to decide, like, I am not doing this again. And now for him, he wasn't like, I think we use the word porn addiction a lot, because an addiction is something that's, like, really hard to break. Like, you really need a lot of, like, work and probably therapy to break an addiction. He wasn't necessarily, like, addicted to this. Like, this was something he did frequently, but not like an addiction all the time where he, like, wouldn't live without it. But so he was able to have that just, like, heart change, honestly. And something else I would think about when you're thinking about having this big, or trying to have this big heart change, is also, if you are a Christian, you're believing that masturbation is wrong. It's like the idea of, okay, what do I want more for my life? Obeying God or disobeying God? Because right now I'm disobeying God and I can't get out. And so having those conversations with yourself will be really good, and with your accountability partner. That's why I really think it's so important to talk to somebody about this outside of your girlfriend, because it sounds like you said that she wants to work on it together, which I think is good. I do think she should be in the loop on this. Absolutely. But I think you're going to need an outside person here to help you and hold you accountable. And I'm talking like weekly check-ins, like texting you and calling you. Like, have you done it this week? What's going on? And if you and your girlfriend want to work on it together, I think that could be great. I really do. I think that's a great way for you guys to, communicate and stay connected. You've been together for 3 years. It seems like this is probably somebody you're going to marry. So I do think that communication with her would be good, but I think you need an outside person to help you as well. So I would talk to her, let her know that, hey, I'm going to be finding an accountability partner. I'm really, working on this, and also explaining it to her of like, you have to really decide what your thoughts on masturbation are, honestly, too. I mean, if this is something that you are like, I feel like this is a sin, this is not what God wants for me, then even if she doesn't understand that, like, you got to stick by that. So this is something that you need to do for you. And in the end, it will help, because it is going to set you guys up for, hopefully a successful sex life one day. It's never going to promise that it's going to be great, but hopefully I think working on this now is a really, really good thing to help prepare you for marriage. So I hope that helped, and I applaud you for writing in. I think this is really great. So I hope that was helpful for you. Okay, next one. I want to spice things up in the bedroom, but my wife does not. Look at us having the boys writing in. Come on. We've had multiple conversations about it, and she won't budge at all. Our sex life isn't bad. I just don't want to do the same routine every time. Okay, there's a lot to unpack with this. I appreciate you writing in. I can understand your perspective. You're like, I want us to do try other things, spice it up a little bit, maybe not do the same routine. And so if she is giving you pushback, because you said we've had multiple conversations about it and she won't budge at all, I would love to know why she won't budge at all, like what reason she is giving and what's going on in her life. Like, does she have a lot going on? Is work really hard for her right now? Is school really stressful? Is she a mom? Like, is she having to take care of kids all day? Is she tired? Like, is she just overtired? Like, I feel like there's more to it than her just not wanting to try new things. So I would suggest finding maybe the root of where the no is coming from, because I'm going to tell you this, like, I do not want you to push her boundaries and go against something that she doesn't want to do. And I don't think you're doing that. Like, it does not sound like you're doing that because you wrote in and asked me about this. Like, I don't think that that's something that you would even think about doing, but I just want to be clear, like, that is not something that we are going to be doing here. I don't think that you're doing that, but I would suggest figuring out the root of her no, like, because it's probably deeper than her just not wanting to try something new. I mean, because if it's as simple as like maybe you want to do a new position and she's not really sure about that, I feel like we could talk more about that. If there's some like, maybe kink that you're interested in trying, or some, maybe some kind of role playing or something like that, and she's not comfortable with that, there may have to be a point where you're just like, okay, my wife is not comfortable with us going that far, and I'm just going to have to be okay with that. Because everybody has a comfort level when it comes to sex and what their yeses are and what their nos are, and we have to respect each person's no's. And so if it's something like that, then that might just have to be it. But if you're, maybe we try a new position or a new location that's maybe just not your bed every time, or a different time of day, figure out what the root of her no is. Maybe she grew up in purity culture and she feels shame about trying anything else. Okay, well then is she open to trying to work on that? I would, figure out if it's like she's just exhausted all day and she's just, happy to at least have sex and she knows she can do it this way and it works this way every time. I feel like there's got to be more to her no. Like, we need to figure out more of the root issue of that rather than she's just like not interested. I would love to know more about that. And if you are going for the more, I want to try this kink that I've been thinking about, or this, new thing that's more than just a new position or something that maybe is a little bit more out there. We're not judging, but like maybe a little bit more out there. I would maybe start smaller. Be like, maybe we can just try, a different location or a different position this time. Or we can try a little bit of, this, like maybe start a little bit smaller rather than going to a big thing. You'd have to, use your discretion on that. But I commend you for continuing to talk about it, like, in the way of not, you're not doing it. You're not just jumping to it. You're at least trying to have the conversation. But it also might just be a time thing. Maybe asking her over and over is not what she necessarily wants to hear right now. So let's just look at the big picture of what is going on with her life and see if we can get to the root of that and then address the root problem. And maybe she'll want to try a little bit more. It may just not be her season for trying to like do other things, and she's just happy that she at least gets to have sex because, that's what she has the energy for right now. I don't want to like tell you that she's going to budge, because I can respect her nose for not wanting to. So I hope that was helpful. I know that's tough to hear. But at some point we just have to respect each other's boundaries of what we are and aren't comfortable with. But I suggest you trying to get to the root of the problem and maybe attacking the root cause of it rather than the symptom of her maybe just like not wanting to try something new. But if she doesn't want to try something new, then I don't really have much advice for you at that point. I'm really sorry. And maybe a therapist could help you with that. All right. Okay, SOS, first-time mom with significant postpartum anxiety. I've been there. I find myself often getting angry with my husband, sometimes for reasonable things, but most of the time it's the little things that just send me over the edge. How do I prevent resentment during this new season of life? How do we communicate so we are a team? What does the Bible say about this? How do we not feel like roommates? I appreciate all the advice. I know I'm not the only mama in this boat. Let me tell you, you are 1,000% not the only mama in this boat, because this was me when Tate's first year of his life. We were drowning. Like, me and Thomas fought more the first year of his life than I think we've ever, of Tate's life, than we ever fought before. Mostly from the sleep deprivation. You have to hear me. The sleep deprivation is affecting you so much more than what you realize. Not getting sleep makes your anxiety significantly worse, makes your temperament worse, makes you on edge with everything, makes you irritable. Sleep deprivation plays a huge role in this. And this is someone coming from someone who does not sleep train her child and will not sleep train future children. I am willing to put up with the sleep deprivation because I do not believe in sleep training, but it is hard. So I just want to validate you in this so much. It is so hard. You are absolutely not the only one going through this. I would get irrationally angry at Thomas for sleeping on the floor in the nursery when he would get up with me every single night. Every single time that Tate was awake, he was up with me too, and he was helping me in the room. And then while I'm nursing, he's taking a little cat nap on the floor. And when I'm ready for him to get up and go put Tate back in the bed, I would wake him up, and he would wake up and then would lay Tate down and would go back in the bed. But for some reason, him being asleep on the floor, oh my gosh, I could have cut his head off. I could have cut his head off. I became a person I did not like and had no, like, oh my, I just became a different person that postpartum time. And I had pretty high, what I now learn to be postpartum depression, because I had postpartum rage. So when I'm reading your write-in, it does seem like, because you said, I find myself, getting angry sometimes for reasonable things, but most of the time it's little things that send me over the edge. I would say that could be a symptom of postpartum depression, which I did not realize that if you have postpartum rage, that is under the umbrella of depression. So it's because that sounds like what you're dealing with is the rage. And so many moms go through this and we just think that it's normal and we just push through. And the best thing that I did for myself was talk to somebody. So I finally got to a point, I'll never forget, I was sitting in the bathroom on the toilet, and Tate was 8 months old. I was so done with being so mad. Like, I was so mad. I think at this point we had already sent my dog to go live with my parents for a month because I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I needed a break from my dog. He went and stayed with them for a month. I could not handle it. I don't know if this was around. I think we had just sent my dog off, or we were about to send my dog off. I think that was sending me over the edge. Even though he was doing nothing wrong and he was just a perfect dog, I was just I was so done with him. And I was sitting in the bathroom and I was Googling postpartum rage. Is there something wrong with me? Are they going to take my baby if I tell the doctor that I'm mad at everything? I was crying, being I am not okay. I'm so mad at everybody. I'm so irritable. And also your hormones are all over the place. So it's really a mess. The best thing I did for myself was I found a therapist and I went to my OB and I got prescribed Zoloft. So medicine is not the answer for everybody, but I do think it could be a huge help for you, because I never even thought that I was going to go on Zoloft. When I went to the OB, I thought that I wanted to get my hormones checked, and I thought there was something with my hormones messed up, and I could just take a vitamin and I would be fine. I had no idea that I was going to get diagnosed with that. And my therapist that I was seeing at the time, I only saw her for a little bit, but the therapist I was seeing at the time diagnosed me with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. My depression scale was higher than my anxiety scale, but she agreed that Zoloft was a great option for me. Basically, my OB at the time described it as, right now my emotions are up and down, 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 left, right, straight, circle, all over the place. And the Zoloft will just help me be even keel. It'll help me bring me back to baseline. It didn't take all my emotions away. I could still feel things. I was so worried about being so numb that I would miss out on the special things that were happening in my baby's life, but that is not the case at all. I could not cry. That was interesting. That was really tough. Not being able to cry was really hard for me, but honestly, the con of not being able to cry just was not enough to get off it, because the pros were so much. It just brought me back to a baseline, and I was on 25 milligrams, which is very low. It's a very, very low dose. Now, I know people in my life are on a higher dose, and that's totally fine. You have to find the dose that works for you. But I just want to tell you, I was on a lower dose and it helped me tremendously. I got my life back. I was not yelling at my husband all the time. I was so much less irritable, and I was only on the medication for 8 months. I was not on it for a long time. I remember the Lord kind of giving me peace about getting off the medicine, and that was so great. I was so grateful that I had that word from the Lord. And I was able to get off, and I really didn't have any crazy side effects getting off it, and I haven't been on it since. But I'm so glad that the medicine was there for me in my time of need, truly, because I was all over the place, and it just really helped bring me like back to a baseline. So I'm so glad that I did that, and I just want to tell you, if that's something that you need to do, there's nothing wrong with you. It will be okay. If you're listening to this and you're already on the medicine, maybe we just need to bump it up a little bit. Maybe we need to bump it up a little bit. But you're definitely not the only one going through this, and the medicine was the best thing I did. I wish I would have gotten on it sooner, and that's what like everyone that's gotten on it for this reason has said. Like, we just wish that we would have gotten on it sooner, because it was so hard. I was all over the place. And it just helped. It helped so much, like truly, truly helped so much. I just really had to try to like snap myself out of it. And that was not working. Like, I could not snap myself out of it. Like, I would tell myself, like, you're going to miss this. They're only this little once. Like, you're not going to get this day back. When you're 85 years old, you're going to look back and wish that you were sitting here with your crying, 8-month-old, and you wish that you were just happy about it. And I would try to tell myself all those things, but that was not enough to get me out of my head, honestly. Like, it really wasn't. And then as far as the roommates thing go, how do we communicate so we are a team, and talking about roommates, and what does the Bible say about this? I will say, I have not like found like a, clear 1, 2, 3, 4 about like how to have a baby at home and, not be fighting with your spouse. But I would say, like, remembering that you are a team is key, and God wants us to be able to work together. Like, I think that you said it best, honestly. You said, how do we communicate so we are a team? Remembering that you are a team is so important, that you're not fighting against each other. You are fighting against a problem. Like, you are a team. And I find over communicating right now is key. Me and Thomas also had like this agreement that what we said between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. don't count, because the things that I would say at 2 a.m. were just not who I am. It's not what I meant. He felt the same way. We kind of had that little agreement, and honestly, that changed a lot for us because I wasn't holding resentment over that. Now, obviously, if your spouse is saying something insane to you and like, crazy, I'm not saying to ignore that, but just a little like angry conversations you might have or things you might get, I don't want you to hold on to that for too long, because you're sleep deprived, so you're so tired and you're saying things you don't mean. But the roommate phase is not forever. It is truly not forever. I really encourage you guys to over communicate during this time. We make up stories in our mind so much. Like, your spouse can say something, and then it sends you down a spiral of like what they meant by that and how they actually feel about you, and you just start to spiral. And one of the best things I think you guys can do is that you can go to him and say, and he can come to you guys need to have this agreement and say, hey, I'm making up this story in my mind because you said or did XYZ. This is where my mind went. Is this true, or am I just like making up this story? I feel like I'm spiraling sometimes. So can we just talk this out? Because this is what I made up in my head, but I want to give you the chance to like, clear the air, clear your story. That can be so beneficial right now for both of you to be able to do that to each other. Just clearing your stories. I think Amanda Carpenter said that, and I felt like that was a really powerful thing, clearing your story. Like, this is a story I'm making up in my head. Here's what I said. What do you think? And can you clear this up for me? And it can just help with communication so much. You will get out of this. This is not forever, truly. Like, me and Thomas have never been more in love. We've never been happier. We've never had a better life. We've never had a better sex life. Like, things are so great. And I really saw that start to turn after about a year. I felt like I was feeling better about a year. I felt like we were getting out of the baby stage after a year, and so that things got a little bit easier. Things really just do get better, but you're not going to feel like roommates forever. They're going to tell you to go on a date night, which I'm also going to tell you that. Like, that is important to remember, like, you being in love. I also found that trying to prioritize physical touch is important, and I know saying that to a new mom is crazy. What you feel comfortable with is what you need to do. I did find that the times that we would be intimate, I felt like we were better afterwards, like really would be. Like, we were better for it. We wouldn't fight as much because it would help us like feel connected to each other again, and it would be fun, and that's a fun thing to do with each other. But I'm not going to rush you into that because you're a new mom and you need to do what's best for you. But that is something that also helped as well. So you're not alone. I'm recommending medication and all those other things. I've got to speed this up, guys. I'm going to probably have to do a part 2 because it's already 30 minutes in and we got a lot to go. Okay, because these are all such good questions, so I don't want to skip any of them. Starting to consider a second kiddo, and every ovulation I get anxiety and push it off again. And like my body gets so much anxiety around sex now because I am just too nervous about pregnancy, even with birth control. It's killed our sex life and my drive is at an all-time low. Hubby is so great and supportive with me, but now that I know that we want to try for a baby, I have way too much pressure surrounding sex and wanting it to be a connecting thing rather than a chore during trying to conceive. And once again, I then push it off every month. Okay, maybe you guys are just not ready yet. Maybe the time is just not right now. Honestly, the chore piece of it, let me tell you, that's so real. When it took us 7 months to get pregnant with our second baby, I was like, it was not going well. It was not going well. I'll just be so honest with you. Thomas had so much anxiety about it. I had so much anxiety about it because every time it was like, all right, we've got a day, 24 hours to make this, to hit the ovulation and, hope that it works. We got a couple of days a month that this can work. And when that pressure's on, all the sexiness is gone. We would call it business deal. Like we're doing a business transaction. Like you're putting it in, done. Okay. But it would cause so much anxiety for both of us. It was a miracle that we were able to get pregnant, honestly, because it was just too much anxiety and it wasn't working. Like, it was hard. And for both of us, like, it truly was. And so I can totally relate with you on that 100%. But if you are feeling, the way that you're right, the reason I'm saying maybe you're not quite ready yet for your second child is because you're saying you get anxiety every time again and anxiety about pregnancy. Maybe your body just needs a little bit more time. I'm not sure how long this is between you and, your first baby, but maybe you just need a couple more months. Maybe you need to just take the pressure off of like not being on birth control, like just take birth control, but not actually like track your ovulation, like just have sex for fun off birth control. Maybe you could try that for a couple months before you start actually tracking to kind of get you guys in the mindset of like this being fun and a connecting thing. Something I have to tell myself all the time when I see it as a chore, I'm like, yes, sex is a chore, but it feels so good emotionally and physically. It feels so good. That kind of, I have to tell myself that, like, when I'm in the moment, I'm enjoying this so much. And that is because we make sure that I finish every time just as much as he finishes every time. So you need to make sure that's part of your routine too. But I have to tell myself, like, this feels so good. You're going to enjoy this. And sometimes I just need that like rally myself to be like, you enjoy this. Don't forget you enjoy this. And then after we're like in it for a couple minutes, usually I'm like, okay, I'm in the moment now and I'm happy and like we want to do this. But it really is so hard. There's so much pressure. I would say go off birth control because you said that you're on it. You said even with birth control. I would say go off birth control, have sex for a couple months off birth control before you actually start tracking and just give yourself a little bit of time. Maybe that, you're off the birth control. That can help like get your body regulated again, give you a couple more months. And then try again. But just maybe have some honest conversations about it. Pregnancy is also really hard, so I can understand being really scared to do that again. Something I remind myself when I think about it again, because pregnancy is hard, is that it's 9 months. It's 9 months of your life, and you can do a really hard thing for 9 months. While you're in it, it's absolutely brutal, and you're sick all the time, and it's horrible. I hope for you it's not, I hope that you have a wonderful pregnancy. But for those who have hard pregnancies like me, it's hard. So I just want to encourage you, like, you can do a really hard thing for 9 months if this is something that you really want to do. Because you said, like, I really know that we want to try for a baby. So I would just get off birth control, have sex for a couple months, and then let's circle back again. Just give yourself a little bit of time. I really feel like it's going to work out. It's going to work out. Next question. Newly married and finally able to actually tolerate penetration, but sex is not enjoyable for me and causes frustration and disconnect between me and my husband. Or they said it properly, between my husband and I. I don't know where to go from here, and no one in my life understands or has any advice that's helpful. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. Congratulations on being newly married. I'm so glad that you're able to tolerate penetration, and I'm so sorry that sex is not enjoyable. And I'm not sure the people in your life are telling you, but if you are hoping that just the act of penetration is going to be enjoyable, that's not always the most enjoyable, to be quite honest with you. Most women cannot orgasm simply from penetration alone, and we need some clitoral stimulation. And let me introduce you to a vibrator. You need a vibrator, my friend. You need a vibrator. It does not mean that your husband is not good at what he does. It simply elevates the experience, simply elevates the experience. We need to be spending time on you, okay? We need to be spending time on you. We need to be really enjoying the foreplay. We need lots of foreplay. We need lots of different ways of foreplay, hands, oral, external, internal, different pressures, different styles, different ways. We need to be spending some time. We need to be spending some time because we need sex to be enjoyable for you too. I want you to enjoy sex. You want to enjoy sex. It's meant for both of you to enjoy. So if you guys are just like kissing a couple times, he's touching a little bit there, and then you're jumping straight to sex, like that's not really enjoyable. We need to be spending time on you, time on you. Lots of foreplay, but a vibrator can be so helpful and really elevate your experience and actually help you enjoy it. A lot of times, I do it. I know a lot of my friends do it. Other people do it. Like, while they're actually having sex, they're also using a vibrator on them, and that is a great experience, It is, and it really is not like replacing your husband. It really is elevating because he can be the one who's holding it on you, or you can hold it on yourself, but he's inside you, so you guys are doing it all together, you're all together. But that is a great way to actually get to enjoy it, and over time, like, you'll kind of learn what you like and where you like it in your body, if that makes sense, because you really need to spend some time around your clitoris, because that is where the most of the pleasure is going to come from you. And also understand that it takes time. A lot of times for women, this is not going to happen in 5 minutes. You might have to spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like really him, spending time on you. And I think that will help you get to that point. So that's your practical advice, like spending time on you, hands, oral, really spending that time on you before you actually have penetrative sex. And then when you actually have penetrative sex, using a vibrator, making sure there is a lot of clitoral stimulation. I think also using breast stimulation can be really helpful too, to help you enjoy it, get that blood flowing those nerves. That can be really helpful for you as well, some nipple stuff. But that is what we need to focus on. We really need to spend time on you and not rushing it and getting a vibrator. Okay? Don't use a vibrator, outside of y'all's time together. Just use it while you're together. But it really can elevate your experience. I will link a vibrator below. It is, the last time I checked, I think it was $7, potentially $8. It's under $10, and it's great. It's small. It's discreet. Doesn't make a lot of noise. It's like a bullet one. It looks like a lipstick tube. And it will be a great thing for you. I highly recommend. I'll link it below. But yeah, we need lots of foreplay and act while it's happening, because we also need to try some different positions too. If you're just doing missionary, like laying on your back and he's in front of you, like that really does not do it, because you can't really give yourself, a good stimulation because he's in the way. So I would try different positions that opt for you to have clitoral stimulation. So that could be on your stomach, or he goes in from behind. There's a website called christianfriendlysexpositions.com that can really help you find positions that give you optimal clitoral stimulation. So I highly recommend that. But we got to spend some time on you. You got this. It's going to happen. And if you have more specific questions or can maybe give me some more details, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram, and hopefully I will see it. I'm kind of behind on my DMs right now. I'm really sorry. But I'll get to it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I can't promise, but I'm trying really hard to catch up. I know I'm behind on DMs, and I'm sorry. But DM me a DM. I'll help you out. Okay. I do not, and I mean do not, want to go to pelvic floor therapist and have her do the internal work. I went before, and she just showed me some helpful exercises, and that was nice, but I just gave birth and have incontinence, and my midwife suggested going again and getting internal work done. Feels so awkward. Ew. But I also have vaginismus and desperately want it to be over with, so maybe I should. If it's just incontinence, I would suck it up and never go, because I don't want anyone else besides my husband seeing or touching down there unless urgent. Granted, I gave birth and naked in front of people, but this just feels different, and it feels voluntary, and I don't like that. Help. Okay, first off, I love you. It's going to be okay. We are going to work through this together. I'm so glad you messaged me. So I'm going to push back on you a little bit. I don't think that going to pelvic floor physical therapy is voluntary. I do not think that is like you're just going and choosing to have someone put their fingers inside you that's not your husband. I believe when we have pelvic floor issues, it is just the same as when you break your leg. I broke my leg in November of 2023. I broke my leg. And after breaking my leg, after a couple months, I had to go to physical therapy. So what did I do? I booked an appointment and I went to physical therapy. And I went to physical therapy for a couple months and we worked on strengthening my leg. We worked on my walking skills. We worked on my jumping skills. We worked on my running skills, worked on strength in my leg so I could walk with no pain. We worked on a lot of skills with my leg to get my leg to a point where it didn't hurt anymore and where I didn't have any problems. Your pelvic floor is the same. I know that there is so much extra, pressure and extra shame sometimes around that part of our body because yes, it is private. That is where pleasure happens. That is where you pee. That is where you give birth. Like all of that is a private experience. Like I'm not, walking around naked showing everybody my vagina. You know what I mean? Like I'm not telling you to do that. But this is a medical issue. That has really helped me with overcoming shame. Because growing up in purity culture, that part is very private. You don't want to show anybody else. But I would push back a little bit and say it's not voluntary. Going to this kind of therapy is not voluntary. You have a problem, incontinence. And I also have incontinence. I desperately need to go to pelvic therapy. And I'm not going right now. But I need to go. Because let me tell you, peeing on yourself all the time is so hard. Every time you sneeze, you're just peeing. And you have to change your underwear every 5 seconds. That is difficult. And that in itself, I think, is enough for you to go. But you saying that you also have vaginismus, healing is possible for vaginismus. And the way to do that is through pelvic floor physical therapy. So try to get in the mindset of this isn't voluntary. I'm not just going to let someone put their fingers inside me because that's not what they're doing at all. It really is not. And the goal of you at pelvic therapy is not for you to be aroused. And I would physical therapy a lot and I was never, not one time aroused. That is not what is happening. They are doing actual therapy and sometimes it's painful like it is because they're doing actual work on you. So it's not like a pleasant, fun experience. Like I would leave therapy feeling sore, but I'm so glad I went because it healed my vaginismus and it, at the time, had healed my incontinence. Now I have incontinence again because I gave birth and didn't go to therapy after that. But I believe that the incontinence is enough for you to go to the doctor about. And the vaginismus is enough for you to go to the doctor about. Try to get it, the separation in your mind of I'm not going for fun. This is not a pleasurable experience. Like this is a doctor's visit. They are doctors. This is what their job is to help you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame about it. And after the first 2 sessions, that nervousness that you're feeling and that grossness really does go away. Your first one is kind of okay, this is happening. This is a lot. Your second one's okay, I'm getting a little bit more okay, I know what to expect now, but it's still a lot. By the third one, it's okay, this is what we do. And usually you start to see progress too. And so that is helpful as well. When you start to see progress and you see that it's actually working, it really is great. Another suggestion could be dilators. If you don't want to go to a pelvic floor physical therapist, I will link the dilators that I have below. They are the Intimate Rose ones and they're fantastic. I think you can get $5 off if you use my code. But dilators are another suggestion for you if you do not want to go to pelvic floor physical therapy, which you made very clear, but I did have to push back on that a little bit out of love because I love you and I want you to get help. But if you are still no, Hannah, I absolutely cannot go, then I'm going to tell you to use dilators. And there's so many tutorials on how to use dilators. I have some on my YouTube and Intimate Rose has a lot on their YouTube and their Instagram. That could be a great start for you. I have a how to dilate episode that tells you step by step of what to do. So I think dilators can be a great help for your vaginismus. I don't know if they're going to fully heal it, but I do think they can be a really big help. So maybe start there and you can start doing that. But I really, really, really recommend pelvic therapy. You did say, so maybe I should just go. And because I desperately want vaginismus to be over. So maybe I should. Yes, you should. You're worthy of healing. The incontinence that you have by itself is worthy of healing. The vaginismus you have is worthy of healing. Them together is absolutely worthy of healing. I do not want you to go the rest of your life experiencing pain with sex, pain with insertion, and peeing on yourself all the time. You are worthy of more and worthy of healing. It is so possible for you. And after you push through those really uncomfortable first and second sessions, you're going to be good to go. You're going to be good to go. I believe you. I'm saying all this with love. I promise. But you got this. All right, let's do, oh man, I have so many more. Okay, I'm actually just going to do an advice column part 2 because this episode's already almost an hour and there's too many good questions. I can't not answer them all because I was reading them all and I was I got to answer that one. I got to answer that one. I got to answer that one. So I'm stopping here. I will do a part 2 next week. Thank you guys so much for listening today. I had so much fun hanging out with you. I hope my advice helped. Feel free to send me a DM if you want to chat any more about it. Okay. Love you. Talk soon. Bye.